And God said to man, I've created all things, giving it unto you for your benefit, for your use. There's only one thing I ask of you, which is the tithe. 10%. The 10th. Say the 10th. And you have 10 fingers, 10 toes. 10 means Latin knocking, and 1 thing nothing. And God said, the fruit of the tree of good and evil is only one thing, which is the tithe. So you can keep the 90, do whatever you please with the 90, but the 10th is mine. And even that man says, no, I want the 90, including God's 10. And God said, you take my honor, you lose my presence.
It's not apple Adam ate, please. You get up to voice. After you shouldn't be eating apple again. That means after you eat apple, you already committed sin. And then some of you ate apple even yesterday. Adam touched the tithe. Adam did what? The tithe was the only thing God told him not to touch. He said, this one is yours, but this is mine. Don't touch it. So every time you touch your tithe, you are living in dishonesty. You living in what? You are tampering with that which God has told you not to touch. Many Christians are not honest with their tithing. Are you hearing me? They touch it today. They say, God, forgive me. Now listen. Every time you willfully disobey God, there's a consequence. There's a what? He sent Jesus to redeem mankind, but he sent Adam out. He may forgive you, but he may lead you to poverty.
And there is a point and a time in one's life when you cannot afford certain mistakes. Paul said, when I was a child, I acted as a child. When I didn't understand some things, I took a lot of things for granted. By understanding the law of consequences, there are certain things I can't afford to make mistakes anymore. I can't afford to do certain things anymore because I have a better understanding about the laws of God, and I cannot be ignorant anymore about some of these issues. So please hear me. As long as you live, understand that life is governed by the law of consequence. Our whole life, from the day we came and to the day we live, is governed by the law of consequence. There is nothing you do, right or wrong, without consequence. And if you understand that, and you live your life by this law and principle, you will go very, very far, and you end up well, and you will sow and plant a good tree, that generations after you will come and eat the fruit of that tree. And if you also plant an evil tree or an evil seed, it will stay there and keep affecting one generation to another generation.
You don't know who sent the money.
Oh my God.
That's right. I think that is the kind of miracle many of us need.
Many of us here.
Why don't you lift up your phone?
Even
Even right now, nothing less than 20 more people.
Yes.
From here, from those watching online, that you have received messages showing that God is giving you release, financial release.
We have 19 of them who had allowed from various sums and what went forth.
That is those for Allah. There are other text messages.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, sir.
But this one is financial.
Yes, sir. Brother Adeyemi, God allowed for 6 zeros. 6 zeros.
Just now.
Just now.
Allowed for millions.
Yes, sir. And Brother Samson got a call from his friend that he should send his account number now. He just sent the message. And a young brother here.
Sorry, hold on. Let's go on. Let's look at the line. Yeah.
Yes, sir. He was the first to run out.
To run out, yes.
Yes, sir. He had 8,000 in the account. Right now, 50,000 entered. I asked him, I said, were you expecting payment from somebody you worked for? He said, no. Where did the money come from? The money just came as pronounced the word.
He has 5,000 naira in the account. And from Canada, they sent 160,000 naira right now.
This young man?
Yes, sir.
From Canada?
From Canada.
And a lad just came. What happened to you?
Another lad just
What happened to you?
Make the declaration. The person just sent me a message that he has credited my.
Alert just came to my
A lad, yes.
Have you guys noticed that there is this new thing in the Christian world about Adam stealing from God? I think I first heard it from David Ibiomi when he said that the sin Adam committed in the Garden of Eden before he was kicked out wasn't fornication or adultery. That wasn't it. But it was God's tithe that Adam stole. And I was like, okay. But we know during the time of Adam and Eve, Adam didn't have a job, right? So where was Adam supposed to get the tithe from? That was my thought. And now I am also hearing a man of God, Archbishop William Duncan, saying the same thing, that actually Adam stole God's tithe. I love these people, right? I love the way they managed to twist the story. I love the way they managed to manipulate the people. And no matter how hard you try to get at them, they just move one step ahead of you. I really love it. They are super smart. Like I have said before, right? In order for any person to be able to build the kind of following these popular so-called men of God have, that individual must be very, very smart. It is not any ordinary Joe that would be able to pull the crowd that these people are pulling. It needs a certain level of intelligence in order for you to be able to manipulate this number of people. And whether we like it or not, those people are very, very intelligent. They are so intelligent. If they were not as intelligent as they are, they would not have been able to do what they have done. They are so smart. And I must commend them for that. I must. When you come calling them out for the things they say and do, they do a reverse psychology and then throw it back at you. For example, if you say men of God are out of line, or some men of God are terrible people, they will not address the case of some men of God being terrible, but rather they will take a default position, which is earthly people are against the body of Christ. That's what they will say, that people who are being manipulated by the devil do not want to see God succeed. They will say, because God is taking over, the body of Christ is taking over, the church is progressing in Africa, so Satan is now manipulating people to come against Christ. That's what they will say. They will not address the argument that has been put forth to them. They will not say, hey, let's look into ourselves, we the men of God. Maybe we are overdoing this thing. Maybe we should take a step backward and re-examine our actions and decisions. Maybe we might have been mistaken. All the things we might have said or done might not have necessarily been what was needed or what should have been done or said. And so maybe we should issue an apology or maybe stop from doing it. They won't do that. They will never do that. But rather, they will come out screaming, kicking, and shouting and saying that their members should be united against the kingdom of darkness, which is us, who are calling them out for their excesses. They will say, earthly people are against the body of Christ, Earthly people don't like God. They don't want to see God succeed. And so they are fighting back. And the members or God's chosen people must also stand up and start fighting. That is what they will say. And you will see their members like sheep just jumping onto the bandwagon and start attacking. And start attacking. No one will bother to address the problem. No one will bother to re-examine themselves. No one would even care about what people were complaining of. No one. But rather defend themselves. That is just it. So it's rather sad that we've come to this point in our human civilization where people cannot say anything against a particular man of God without facing a lot of backlash from the so-called Christians. It's sad. You know, I saw a video on Facebook, and I think I'm going to let you guys watch that video, but I was a little bit worried about Facebook and censorship or YouTube censorship policies because I don't want to break their rules about posting violent content. Actually, the whole story was like this individual it's like a teenager, maybe like 15, 14 years old boy who cross-dresses as a girl and went to a church, and according to what the people were saying, stole phones from the church. And when he was apprehended by people in the church, they started beating him. And they undressed him. And my concern was that this is a church. And you guys are doing something like this to this individual. Now, I don't condone stealing. I don't condone people cross-dressing. But my point was like, there is more to this story than you guys are seeing. This little boy would not just wake up and decided to start cross-dressing and start stealing. Won't you as Christians, as you call yourself, as people of God, sat this boy down, maybe fed him, and then asked him what might have led him into doing what he was doing? Wouldn't that be more productive than all this beating? Wouldn't that? And remember, you guys claim to be children of God. You guys claim to be serving God. And you guys claim that your God is a loving Father and a more forgiving Father. So if you have a loving and forgiving Father, why should you be behaving in such a manner? It was really, really sad. In fact, when I saw the video, my heart bled. Things I saw was expected from people who are unbelievers, people who don't know God, people who don't worship God, not from people who claim to be children of God, who claim to be servants of God. Not from them. This wasn't expected from them. I think I'm going to do that video in the next episode so that you guys can see how the so-called Christian treated a fellow human being because allegedly he stole a phone.